All right, it is June 2nd, 7 o'clock, and I'm calling this regular Battleground City Council meeting to order. If you're able, please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance. And roll, please, Ms. Halili.
Mayor McCoy,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bowman,
Here.
Councilmember Kuipers,
Here.
Councilmember Ferrer,
Present.
Councilmember DeRozier,
Here.
Councilmember Davis,
Here.
Councilmember Overholzer,
Here.
and the clerk is present. That concludes the roll.
Brings us to agenda approval. Council, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
The motion by Councilmember Ferrer, second by Councilmember Kuipers to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember reports, any of those this evening? Not seeing any. Most of our meetings are towards the beginning of the month. Brings us to mayor's report. We have some distinguished guests here. The Greater Vancouver puts on a civics bee. So they have brought some students in for us to recognize. And I believe the podcast famous Jeanette's here. Is she here? So give us a little background for those that don't know.
Good evening, council members. We do have some distinguished guests. My name is Janet Konevsky, Chief Operating Officer for the Greater Vancouver Chamber, and I'm joined by 4 of our 11 staff here at the Greater Vancouver Chamber. We do put on a Civics Bee. Our 3rd Civics Bee was held just a month ago, where we have partnered with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in order to hold what we call a National Civics Bee here in Southwest Washington. We're one of approximately 50 other cities that are putting this on throughout the country. And the goal is to bring knowledge awareness to our youth in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in order to understand the institutions of power, how they can make a difference, and so that they can come to city council meetings just like this and be able to voice what they could be part of a solution to our everyday problems in their community. So each one of these youth have submitted an online essay up to 750 words, and we have participants that are coming throughout Southwest Washington. A very large contingent since year 1 has come from Battleground, so we're really excited to be here. We have hundreds that have taken part, submitted essays, and they choose what community problem they could solve and how they can be a part of that. And so they submit essays from anything from fast fashion to too much algae in Lacamas Lake to bullying, you name it. These youth have a lot of things on their mind, and they actually have a lot of solutions that they're bringing to the table. So we hold a Civics Bee where 20 of the youth that are selected through the online surveys get together and they play a gamified version of the Civics Bee. It could be anything from name the branches of government down to very technical, very challenging questions. These youth have studied for it, and they understand that they can be a part of the solution. So we're really excited. I'd like to introduce really briefly, we have 8 individuals who are joining us here today, and then we're going to have 2 individuals who would like to share a brief moment about their essay and what it was about. And I think you're going to be really happy with one of them in particular that is from Battleground and has a Battleground issue he would like to work alongside you all to solve. So I'm going to have them stand up because for the most part, this is going to be most of their very first time, hopefully not the last time, to City Council. So I'll say their names and I'm going to ask you to stand up. We have Chloe Saldia from Lauren Middle School. We have Shreya Andy, who came in 1st place from Chehalis Middle School. We have Adithya Jagadesh from Chehalis Middle School. Alana Lee from Lauren Middle School. Rai Dilly from Tukes Valley Middle School. And Rai came in 2nd place, and he'll be talking to you in just a moment about their essay. We have Ian Waters from River Home Link. We have Levi Merchant, Homeschool Merch. We have Roopjot Kaur from Lauren Middle School, Esther Lias from Hawkinson Heights Middle School, and Katie Anders from Liberty Middle School. Congratulations to you all. Okay, I am going to introduce our first place, which is Shreya Andy from Shahala Middle School, who would like to give you about 2 minutes on the topic of her essay.
Hi, nice to meet all of you guys. My name is Shreya Andy, and I'd like to share on the topic of air pollution. I've watched as everything around me has changed, like the road behind my house once was undisturbed. The forest behind my house is now an apartment complex towering over my home. A study showed that Vancouver residents are more likely to get seriously ill from air pollution than anywhere else in the state of Washington. A study in 2024, and a solution I'd like to bring to this are green walls. Green walls use algae and other biodegradable materials to use photosynthesis to take the CO2 and other harmful things out of the air. A study in 2024 showed that it released VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds, out of the air by 96.34% and reduced particulate matter by 65.42% and reduced CO2 rates by under 4.8% under optimal conditions, which is very good. Thank you.
As you can see, what we try and do is encourage the youth to get out there, meet with individuals, do their study, find out the costs and the partnerships that are out there in the community in order to solve the problem. So thank you, Andy. Next, we are going to welcome Rye Dilly from Tukes Valley Middle School, who was our second place winner.
Hello, my name is Rye. I'm a student at Tukes Valley Middle School in our district, and my essay was about battleground public schools funding measures, specifically bonds, construction bonds. Because how funding works in our state is that it's almost impossible to construct a school building, especially multiple, without voter approved tax measures. And bonds, separate from levies, are how school districts approve major construction projects. And the thing that is different about Battleground from most other school districts is we find it very difficult to pass any ballot measure, but especially bonds. We haven't passed one since 2005, which was 20 years ago. It approved the construction of Daybreak, Tukes, and Chief Umtouch. My essay was about how importantly we need another bond, given that we haven't passed one since 2005, and our district's population has grown far beyond what our schools were designed to encapsulate. So I went into detail about how partnerships with city organizations, political action committees such as Battleground Citizens for Better Schools, and the community as a whole could contribute to passing a bond measure. And after I wrote my essay, I interviewed former Superintendent Mark Hottaway, who was superintendent during a 2016 bond measure run. And we further discussed how community involvement is something that is very important to passing one of these, in that you need to not just get the support of a loud minority, but a silent majority in order to get something passed. And so I explained this, and that you need, well, before the interview with Hottaway, I explained how student involvement can also help. And obviously, as a student, I have spoken in support of school levies and things like that. But if a bond measure were to be put on the ballot by a district, then support by students such as myself would be important to that. And so, yeah.
I think we found a couple of colleagues for you all in the future who might be sitting up there joining you today in the future. So I'll let you know that the first and second place is actually going to go on to Seattle for our state civics bee. They'll be up in actually in Olympia joining with our third place, and they will have an opportunity to do just this: speak to a group, take a test, and compete against other regions in the state of Washington, with the first place one going on to Washington, D.C. for the final. So pretty exciting. And I want to say, I think the prize might be a $10,000 scholarship for those that are going on. We have had previous participation. I know we've had some guests at our previous civics bee. We have had Battleground Mayor Troy, who was a judge in the past. We have had Mayor Philip Johnson in the past as a judge. And then just recently we had Superintendent Denny Waters, who was a judge this last year. So very grateful for the participation that's coming from Battleground, the participation that we're having in the community and you all, and we hope to see you next year. I would like to, if you're okay with it, invite the youth up here to take a picture with the city council members and mayor.
Sure,
And
absolutely. Let's get them up here on next to the stage. They might be taking a seat
That's
on
right.
here.
Okay.
Not too long.
that sounds good. Would you
Yeah,
like,
sure.
like to come up? Mayor Troy, would you like them down below or up top? Down below? Perfect. Thank you. You want, you can direct them.
All right. Thank you, students and Chamber, for putting on. That's a lot of work that the Chamber does. So well done. Next up, we have a new employee introduction. Is that Mark, you got this?
I'll pause for a half second to let.
Yeah. Don't take it personal, Mark.
What's that?
Don't take it personal.
No, it's fine. Good evening, council. I'm going to introduce our new maintenance worker water, got tongue tied. Bella Hilliard. Bella worked for the city of Blackfoot, Idaho for 4 years. She's got her CDL, operator 1 license. She's operated backhoe, done meter maintenance, and on call. And she worked 3 years as a senior phlebotomist. Just happy I can say that word.
Good job.
She'll be married 5 years in August. She's got 2 children, Arlo and Jaden. I'm pretty sure Arlo's in the back somewhere. She started out in electrical engineering and completed about a year of that before moving on to other challenges. Hobbies, she's like foraging for plants, guitar, being a goof, kayaking, camping, hunting, fishing, and teaching her kids everything she knows. She's originally from Florida. She's moved over half the country to completely to the other side. Apparently took 16 moves over 32 years. She's excited to see what Washington can provide as far as outdoor activities goes. And if you have any restaurant recommendations, she'd love to hear them. Give me a second.
Oh, especially for like fish fry. Do you guys have any fish fry recommendations?
Fish and chips at Ridge, the coast, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a recommendation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll take it. That sounds good to me. But it's nice to meet you all. Like you said, I'm Bella, and I'm really excited to see what Washington and Battleground specifically has to offer to me and what I can offer to you guys. So I'm very excited to be here, and I appreciate your time.
Well, we'll have to get you some good restaurant recommendations so you stick along longer than, you know, a couple of years. But come on, please come on up and introduce yourself to council and we'll say hello. All right, thanks for coming by, Bella. And we have a couple awards coming up, so I'll hand it over to Chief. Some pretty exciting ones, really.
Well, good evening. For the first award, we had 3 planned for night 1. He had a family issue that couldn't make it. So for the first one, if Lieutenant Jason Purdue, if you'd come up, please. Jason's, I think, feeling a little hurt because nobody remembers him anymore. All he remembers the dog. So we're gonna remember him tonight. This is a life-saving medal that here's the details from the incident. On the evening of August 31st of 2024, Lieutenant Jason Purdue was dining with his family at a restaurant in Blaine, Washington. While enjoying his meal, he observed an elderly woman at the nearby table suddenly fall into visible medical distress. It quickly became apparent that she was choking, unable to breathe. Without hesitation, and despite being off duty, Jason immediately sprang into action. Drawing on his training and experience, Jason calmly and confidently approached the woman, assessed the situation, and initiated life-saving measures, including performing the Heimlich maneuver, a critical intervention that successfully cleared the woman's airway. At the same time, he ensured the emergency services were contacted, coordinating care until paramedics arrived and took over. Jason's swift and decisive actions saved the woman's life. His ability to remain composed under pressure and respond with precision and compassion speaks volumes about his character and commitment to protecting life in every circumstance, on or off the clock. After the situation was under control and paramedics were on scene, Jason quietly returned to his family and resumed his meal, not seeking attention or recognition for his heroic actions. When the restaurant owners approached him to thank him for what he had done, Jason responded humbly and gracefully, simply saying he was doing what anyone would do in that situation. Jason's actions embody the highest ideals of public service. His integrity, sense of duty, and compassion reflect the core values of the department: integrity, quality service, and accountability. In that moment, Jason not only saved a life, he reinforced the trust and respect between the department and the community we serve. His courageous and selfless conduct serves as an inspiration to his fellow officers, as a powerful reminder of the impact one person can have even in unexpected circumstances. It is with deep respect and admiration that Lieutenant Jason Perdue was awarded the Life Saving Medal. And this one, not that it overshadows, but certainly when you hear the details, I think you'll agree, certainly well deserved. Detective Ethan Pokey. The Battleground Police Department is proud to recognize Detective Ethan Pokey as the 2024 Officer of the Year. This distinction, awarded through a vote by the members of the Police Guild, reflects the deepest respect and admiration of his peers, those who witness his commitment and excellence firsthand. Detective Pokey joined the Battleground Police Department nearly 8 years ago from Oahu, Hawaii. Since then, he served in patrol as a field training officer and for the past 2 years in the detective unit. His selection for this honor reflects not just a year of exceptional work, but a continued demonstration of leadership, mentorship, and dedication to the agency's mission. In late 2023, the detective unit experienced a transition with the addition of a new sergeant and new detective. During this time, Detective Pokey stepped up to guide both, informally serving as a mentor and a field trainer. He helped orient them in investigative protocols and facilitate critical introductions to prosecutors, task force partners, and regional law enforcement agencies. Understanding the demands of the role, Ethan also voluntarily took on the bulk of the new casework to allow his new colleagues time to acclimate. When a supervisor was away for training, attending extended training across the state, Detective Pokey assumed the role of the acting sergeant. He oversaw investigations and served as the primary contact for the unit, handling the added responsibilities with professionalism and grace. Ethan's investigative achievements in 2024 were equally notable. In April, he led a complex human trafficking and prostitution investigation involving a local massage parlor. He coordinated his efforts with local, state, and federal partners. The investigation culminated in a successful search warrant, resulting in the business's closure within 24 hours. In May, he spearheaded a commercial burglary case that extended to Lakewood, ultimately leading to the suspect's arrest and recovery of over $100,000 in stolen property. He also responded to several emotionally demanding cases, including several suicide involving teenage victims. In each instance, Ethan handled the investigations with compassion and professionalism, supporting grieving families through tragic circumstances. Beyond these investigations, Detective Pokey continues to invest in the agency's long-term success. He serves as a primary defensive tactics instructor, as well as contributes to the efforts of officer safety and readiness for those on the agency. In one of the most telling examples of his character, Detective Pokey voluntarily returned to Graveyard Patrol to assist a struggling officer in the field training program. Drawing on his FTO experience, he provided the guidance needed to help the officer succeed and become a valued member of this agency. Throughout all these accomplishments, Ethan never sought the spotlight. He's a humble, dependable, and deeply committed to the department's core values. He's a respected leader, a devoted family man, and someone you can rely on, whether as a colleague, a friend, or a community member in need. So please join us in congratulating Detective Ethan Pokey on this well-earned and heartfelt recognition, Battleground Police Officer of the Year.
And I know you two gentlemen didn't want to come and be recognized, but it's really important for this community to know what you do. And even I think the life-saving training that police officers get is not well known. So thank you for letting us recognize you. We appreciate all you do. And Chief, did you want to start this next one out, or?
Manny 2.0. So if we'll go to the PowerPoint. What we wanted to do is provide council and the public with an update of what we have affectionately called Manny 2.0. Next, please. This was original Manny. Everybody, I think, had seen the initial impact that Manny had. Next slide. Basically what that slide says, it's hard to read in the back, but Manny was great for us, but it was static, which meant I could only put him out, we could only put him out during the daytime hours. If we put him out at night, there was no way for him to be seen. So we looked for a way that we could make this something that would be a 24-hour operation. So we reached out to Mike Wilcox, the lead maintenance worker for and fleet supervisor for the city, told Mike what we wanted, and he went right to work. So next slide, please. Mike found an old speed trailer. This had been damaged by somebody in the past. It was really of no use to us. Mike took it and cannibalized it and found a working radar unit and said he had come up with an idea to bring our Project Manny to life. Next page. What you'll see, that arrow is something that Mike created. It's an articulating mount. What that means is we were able to mount a radar unit in there. So no matter how we place the vehicle, we'd be able to get radar coming from it. The only downside that we have right now is it's one directional. Most of the police radars are dual, so it can coming and going. This only picks up one direction. But what he designed for us allows us, no matter where we park the car, we're able to get the speed. So next. It looks like this big fancy contraption, and I didn't understand it. Mike had to break it down so even the police chief could understand it. But basically what he was able to rig was the unit that's on the bottom. Whatever we set the speed limit at, if a vehicle hits that speed limit, it trips the overhead lights, the emergency lights, which means they'll come on for 2 seconds to let somebody know that they're violating it. And after 2 seconds, it goes off. If that wasn't enough, on the very bottom, it's hard to see, he included a tracker, a counter on there, so we'd know how many times that tripped. So we control what the trigger is. So if the speed limit's 35, we can set the trigger at 40. We can set the trigger at 45, whatever we choose. So sometimes it just depends on which roadway we deploy Manny 2.0 on. But next slide, please. This is the new Manny that's been re-outfitted. I'll talk briefly about him in just a second. Next. When you watch this, we gave you 3 different examples. So this is Mike's creation. As you can see, it's already rolling. It's picked up the vehicle, and the emergency lights come on for 2 seconds, and then they click off. Next. One more. One more slide. There you go. This one was over off of Grace, I believe. So as you'll see, vehicle, we couldn't pick it going away, but here comes a vehicle from the top of your screen. The emergency lights come on for 2 seconds, and they go back off. It looks great during the day. Kick it one more, another screen. As it starts getting darker. So it picks up and goes off after 2 seconds, and it triggers our counter. Next, please. So then I wanted to share with you what the public thought. On this one particular post that was generated by the public, there was 236 likes, 84 different comments. Next, please. There's some small print. You won't be able to read them. Just go ahead and go to the next one and one more. But basically, people said, Manny got me good. People were, way to go, Battleground PD. So we knew that a little bit of tongue in cheek, it was working. Next. This guy said he got me 3 different times. Next. And one more. Some of the people even commented how it was a good reminder. The one that I wanted to point out is this one, because I have to reach out to her. She said they even have a song that they sing about Officer Mustache. So I'm very interested to know what this song is that they're singing about our Manny. I was glad to see that they liked his mustache game, because one of the previous ones didn't make a very nice comment about the mustache. And for a man who wears a mustache, I was a little concerned. Next. This one, I think as we wrap up, He said he hit his brakes and he got so mad that he said, "Damn it, Manny, go home." And you click it one more time, and the public said, "If you slow down, Manny will go home. People are driving too fast." So he's been an incredible addition to the police department. We put him all around. We try to only keep him out for about 24 hours because then we've also been very successful in the next day or two. We put a police officer there and run radar from where Manny was sitting. So we've been successful in that as well, because you can imagine the look on people's face when they thought it was Manny and they find out it's an officer who's writing the ticket. So next, please. None of this would have been possible had we not given a vision to Mike Wilcock and what he was able to produce. I don't think that there's anybody else, not only in the state, but anybody that I can even think of that has taken a ghost car and done what Battleground has done with it. So it's just amazing when the city has such great employees and you tell them what we're trying to achieve, and he just takes an idea and absolutely runs with it. So Mayor, I'd like to turn it back to you now.
So they put together a special commendation for Fleet Supervisor Mike Wilcox, and I'll read what the letter says that's part of this. In the fall of 2024, the Battleground Police Department launched a creative ghost car initiative to serve as a force multiplier in efforts to improve traffic safety and deter speeding. The program utilized a decommissioned patrol vehicle outfitted with a mannequin, which was strategically placed in areas experiencing high rates of speeding. While effective during daylight hours, the original setup lacked illumination and tracking capabilities, limiting its overall impact and operational use. To enhance the program's functionality and deterrent value, the department sought the expertise of Mike Wilcox, the City of Battleground's lead maintenance worker and fleet supervisor. Mike eagerly accepted the challenge and, drawing inspiration from the ingenuity of the so-called fictional MacGyver, began transforming the ghost car concept into a more dynamic and effective tool. Mike sourced a functional radar unit from a salvaged traffic trailer and engineered a custom articulating mount, enabling the radar to monitor multiple angles. His most impressive enhancement involved integrating the radar system with the patrol car's overhead emergency lights. The resulting system, believed to be unique in Washington State, if not the entire West Coast, allows officers to program a speed threshold. When a passing vehicle exceeds a set speed, the red and blue emergency lights activate for 2 seconds before automatically shutting off, providing a visual warning to drivers without requiring officer presence. Additionally, Mike installed a resettable counter to track the number of emergency light activations during each deployment. He also integrated the system with the vehicle's power supply to ensure continuous operation while rendering the car immobile to prevent potential theft. On April 25, 2025, the upgraded unit, affectionately nicknamed Manny 2.0, was deployed for the first time. The vehicle, now capable of nighttime operation, remained stationed for a full 48-hour period, recorded an impressive 686 speed-related activations. The community's response was overwhelmingly positive, with one community social post featuring Manny 2.0 receiving likes and comments, nearly all expressing support and appreciation. Thanks to Mike's remarkable creativity and technical skill, Manny 2.0 not only draws attention and praise, but also plays a meaningful role in slowing traffic and potentially preventing accidents. His contributions have had a direct and lasting impact on public safety in the City of Battleground. For his outstanding work and innovation, Mike Wilcox is recognized with sincere appreciation for a job well done. Signed, Dennis Flynn, Chief of Police. Little country ingenuity. Okay, that brings us to the citizens communication portion of the evening. We'll open it up. Individuals limited to 3 minutes to provide comments. It's opportunity to hear from members of the public in a limited public forum, not an opportunity for extended comments or dialogue. Please refrain from derogatory remarks, personal attacks, campaign speeches, and applause. Please direct your comments to the mayor. City council may not be able to respond. We may refer you to a staff for assistance. City manager has placed her cards at the clerk, whereas also you can give any handouts to the clerk as well. So with that, we'll see, is there anybody online that wishes to speak?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, that brings us to Bill Osmondson, King County.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Bill Osmondson. I'm a dentist. For the first 25 years of practice, I promoted water fluoridation. Over the last 20 years, I've become quite opposed to fluoridation, and I'll give you just a smidget of why here. Here's a graph from the World Health Organization. We can see years across the bottom. We can see red are fluoridated countries. Blue are unfluoridated countries. Up until about 2 decades ago, there appeared to be a difference between the fluoridated and non-fluoridated countries. But what we have now is very much the same. We don't see any benefit from the World Health Organization data. This one is a Cochrane Review data. Cochrane Review is considered the highest quality of reviews of studies. We're looking here at the time and effectiveness over time of fluoridation. Again, around the year 2005, there was almost no benefit from fluoridation. It's gone down, if it ever was, according to the EPA scientists. They don't feel like it was benefit. This is New York counties. The counties in New York, we rank them on their percentage of the population fluoridated. So it goes higher and higher and higher. Then we plot the decay. We should see that as fluoridation goes up, decay goes down. That's what the plan is. Problem is that decay goes up. One other thing, risks and harm. The FDA has approved fluoride in your toothpaste if you want to buy that. Their warning is do not swallow. That's referring to 1/4 milligram of fluoride. The same amount of fluoride that you put in this much or about this much of water is what the FDA says do not swallow. The National Sanitation Foundation, the EPA, the FDA, the CDC were all asked in court whether they had any safety studies. None of them had safety studies. Do you? I made a lot of money treating people like this with dental fluorosis and selling fluoride also. I'd like to talk to you again sometime regarding fluoride if you can set up a time. And the harm. For me, the gut wrencher is the premature birth, the infant mortality, and the miscarriages look like they're increasing. We don't want to harm these infants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Jessica Cole.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jessica Cole. I want to clarify a few points about proclamations. It's been said often that the governance policy requires a vote on controversial proclamations, but that's not accurate. The policy says potentially controversial, which is a key difference. Any proclamation could be seen as potentially controversial. Even the Police Week proclamation last meeting, which many recognize can be a controversial topic, was issued without any extra scrutiny. That inconsistency is exactly the issue. the policy was applied selectively once and only in response to a pride proclamation. That is not how good policy should work. Also, I want to be clear that my advocacy hasn't been just about LGBTQ recognition. I was defending the practice of proclamations as a whole. Removing them would have impacted every group and every cause, from veterans to public servants to causes like domestic violence prevention. It was also suggested that citizen comments could replace proclamations, but in reality, that's not how this space functions. I've never been acknowledged during public comment for the work I do or the organizations I represent. In fact, I often struggle just to get a reply to emails or a simple hello from some counselors. If recognition is to be meaningful, it needs to be consistent, not left to chance or selective relationships. So thank you to the counselors who voted to retain proclamations and to remove the flawed clause that gave veto power to a minority. It was especially confusing to hear one counselor call proclamations important, then immediately move to eliminate them. That contradiction speaks to why clarity and consistency matter. I'm glad proclamations remain an option, not just because they affirm belonging, but because they invite us to learn about and reflect on the lives and contributions of others. Even when we don't all agree, they help us see one another more fully, to learn, to understand, and to listen to experiences different than our own. That's how we build a stronger community, not by turning away, but by making space for each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Is there anybody else who would like to add public comments? Okay, seeing none, that concludes the citizens' communication portion of the evening. Brings us to consent agenda. Council, what's your wish here? You can remove, we can take a motion. What would you like to do? I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety as presented. Sorry
you.
about that.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So we're going to go through some code amendments now. Kristen, you want to start us out? Go for it.
Yes, please. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. We did a presentation on our proposed municipal code amendments with you at the May 5th meeting. Before I ask you to please open the public hearing to hear citizen comment, I did want to highlight a couple revisions that we had made to the code language as it relates to the ADUs or accessory dwelling units. So as part of our process, anytime development regulations are being changed, we send the proposed changes to the Washington State Department of Commerce for review and comment. They have a 60-day window to comment back. So when I presented to you on May 5th, we had not yet heard back from them. We have heard back from them since then. And based on their recommendations and comments, we've made some changes to the ADU sections to be consistent with state law. So I just wanted to bring attention to those items to make sure we were clear. So on page 15 of your staff report, and I'm happy to share this too if there's value in that, but section 17.103, which is our definitions section, we have a defined definition for accessory dwelling unit attached and accessory dwelling unit detached. What we did not have was a definition for just accessory dwelling unit. So we have added 17.103.013 for a definition of accessory dwelling unit. In addition to that, in sections 17.103.014 and 17.103.016, we have updated the definitions of the accessory dwelling unit attached and accessory dwelling unit detached to be consistent with state law. So that was the first change I wanted to bring to your attention. The second is on page 17 of the staff report, and we did talk about this at the May 5th meeting. So I wanted to draw attention to the change here. In section 17.135.010 for accessory dwelling units, we had talked about the configuration that was allowed. And I will apologize because I made a statement that we wouldn't allow two detached structures, and we were corrected by Department of Commerce. So as the state law reads, the configurations, and this is for number C, talks about how we allow up to 2 accessory dwelling units, which can be configured in a way either one detached structure that houses 2 separate accessory dwelling units, or to allow for 2 detached structures that would house 1 unit each. So that was different than what we talked about at May 5th. So I wanted to make sure I brought that to your attention. And again, that's to be consistent with the RCW and the House bill language.
Thank you. Yeah, I know the state is definitely getting involved in a lot of things that used to be city purview.
Yes. So again, I apologize for the oversight on our part. We were trying to choose language that was simplified and clear, did not mean to omit the intent. So we've corrected that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those or discuss those items further. Otherwise, everything else should look the same as it did at the May 5th meeting.
Council, any questions before I proceed? Okay. Did we receive any written testimony for the public hearing?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. With that, I will now open the public hearing at 7:46 PM. For public testimony, individuals are limited to 3 minutes to provide comment on the annual code amendments, ordinances numbers 2025-05, 2025-06, 2025-07, 2025-08, and 2025-09. Please direct your comments to the mayor. And if there's anybody in the room, please step up and state your name, and we will take your testimony. How about anybody on Zoom? Raise your hand and the clerk will unmute you.
No one on Zoom, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Nobody here? All right. Seeing no further members of the public wish to speak, I'll now close the meeting at 7:47 PM. So we will do each individual. So if we could start with the first title.
Ordinance number 2025-05, an ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 8, Health and Safety, Chapter 8.04.040, Nuisances Prohibited.
I'd like to move to adopt ordinance number 2025-05, amending the Battleground Municipal Code, Title 8, Health and Safety.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilmember DeRocher, second by Councilmember Kuipers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next title, please.
Ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 12, Streets and Sidewalks, Chapter 12.104, Sidewalk Construction Standards, Sections 12.104.010, Construction Specifications, 12.104.020, Curb Construction, Chapter 12.116, Transportation Standards, Sections 12.116.060, Transportation Facilities, General Specifications, 12.116.180, Developments, Frontage Improvements.
Floor is open for motions.
I'd like to move to adopt ordinance number 2025-06, amending Battleground Municipal Code, Title 12, Streets and Sidewalks. Second the motion.
Motion by Councilmember DeRocher, second by Councilmember Kuipers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next title, please.
Ordinance number 2025-07, an ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 15, Buildings and Construction, Chapter 15.104, Building Code, Section 15.104.010, Uniform Codes Adopted by Reference, amended. Chapter 15.136, Public Works Construction Specifications, Sections 15.136.050, Engineering Plans, 15.136.060, Bonding.
Move to adopt ordinance number 2025-08, amending Battleground Municipal Code, Title 17, zoning.
Second.
No, you're,
Oh, sorry, I read the wrong, I scratched
no,
out.
we're on 07.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll go back. So. Okay, we're on.
I move to accept ordinance number 2025-07, buildings and construction, Title 15.
Could I get a second? Second. Thank you. You're fine.
Okay. but I'm-
Motions by Councilmember Kuiper, second by Councilmember Overholzer. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next title, please.
Ordinance number 2025-08, an ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 17, zoning, Chapter 17.103, definitions, Section 17.103.013, accessory dwelling unit, Section 17.103.014, accessory dwelling unit attached, 17.103.016, accessory dwelling unit detached, 17.106, residential districts, R3, R5, R7, R10, R12, R16, R20, Section 17.106.040, single-family and duplex design standards, Chapter 17.135, supplementary regulations for specific uses, Section 17.135.010, accessory dwelling units.
Try again. Okay, I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-08, amending Battleground Municipal Code, Title 17, zoning.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilmember DeRocher, second by Councilmember Kuipers. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Next title, please, and last one, I believe.
Ordinance number 2025-09, an ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 18, Environmental Protection, Chapter 18.250, Stormwater Control and Drainage, Sections 18.250.020, Application of Thresholds, 18.250.025, Exemptions, 18.250.040, enforcement, 18.250.510, variances, Chapter 18.257, clearing and grading, Sections 18.257.030, definitions, clearing and grading, 18.257.040, general provisions, clearing and grading, 18.257.050, exemptions.
Move to adopt ordinance number 2025-09, amending Battleground Municipal Code, Title 18, Environmental Protection.
Second motion.
Motion on the floor by Councilmember Kuipers. Motion made by Councilmember DeRocher, second by Councilmember Kuipers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Ends our code updates. I know that seemed fast, unanimous, but a lot of work goes in before we get to this point. And thank you to the planning department. I know that's a lot of work behind the scenes. So appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. And thank you to the clerk for reading those titles.
What's that?
And thank you to the clerk for reading those long titles.
Okay, Mr. Hersick, you're up again.
Good evening,
Enter the
Count.
bus-
Good evening, council. We talked a little bit at the last meeting about some updated parks rules. So in the ordinance that's in your packet, we made the changes we discussed. So we've got hours of operation, both generally and then at the various specialized facilities. In permitted activities, we added geocaching and laid out the rules for those. We added vaping, being not allowed, plus just making it an outright prohibition of smoking and tobacco use. Then made some kind of clarifying things that were elsewhere in the code that weren't rules related. One question I did have is I remember some discussion about horses, and I think Eric, you might have brought that up. Wasn't clear to me if you wanted that in there, so I still have that question if we want to add that. But other than that, I'm happy to answer questions, and if you could set the public hearing for July 21st, we will have it then.
Okay, before we move on to setting the public hearing, are there any questions? Or, somebody's got
I
to,
feel like I need to comment now. No, yeah, Mark, I just think, most of the county parks have no horseback riding as, one of their park rules. So as much as it seems as a joke, I think we should have no horseback riding as our park rules
Yep.
for.
Yeah, if everyone's okay with that, I can add it. In general, head nods. So I'll add that to the final.
Thanks, Mark.
okay, could we get the title, please? Thank you.
Ordinance number 2025-10. An ordinance amending Battleground Municipal Code Title 8, Health and Safety, Chapter 8.18, Parks Rules and Regulations.
Okay, and at this point, council, we're just asking for a motion to set the public hearing.
I don't- Okay, yeah, actually I do. So I move to set a public hearing for July 21st, 2025 during our regular city council meeting to hear public testimony regarding ordinance number 2025-10 park rules.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Councilmember DeRocher, second by Councilmember Overholzer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. That brings us administrative reports.
I don't have any reports tonight, Mayor, but I will say this has been gorgeous, beautiful weather, and I hope that all of you are getting out there to take a look at the projects that the city has been working on, particularly when it comes to the parks. I'm not going to give a date here, but K Park, if you haven't seen those facilities with the covered basketball and the covered, soon to be covered pickleball courts, it's just amazing the work that has been done. I know they're close. Megan and I took a real close peek at the surfaces for those pickleball courts, but I have to say it's taken a long time, but it is such a beautiful thing to see the incredible improvements to our parks. So thank you to all the staff that have been working really hard on that. That's all I have.
Okay, which brings us council communications. Council, anything for the good of the order? Okay, and then we do have an executive session scheduled. My portion will only last about 5 minutes. If nobody has any questions, that's about how long it will take. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Council communication. Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Probably didn't call for the seat anyways at this point, right? That's more like during the regular part of the meeting. So yeah, speaking of the parks, I just wanted to get an update on the parks and when are the trees going to be planted for Kiwanis?
They'll be planted before the project's over, so I assume it's gonna be anytime.
Okay, and when are you guys going to do the final walk?
I think that's scheduled for sometime this week, if not early next week.
Okay. Can council go to that? Because I've never been to one. Just to learn something. I will be quiet throughout the process.
I'll let Chris address that.
in general,
Typically, that doesn't, yes,
Let's,
right, city council.
You and I can talk offline and I could better understand what it is you're looking for. And
Okay.
then we're actually gonna have that scheduled because I'm not really sure. Probably next week. I mean, they've got a little bit left to go, but we can get together to see exactly what your request is.
Okay.
It is a fantastic project.
Okay. Did we ever get an update on the water runoff or anything? Cause I went over there today, cause like you said, enjoying the sunshine. And I looked over there and they had like a whole bunch of digging, and on the part that I was concerned with, the water spouts went down. And then there was something new going on over there. So I didn't know if like, oh, are they gonna hook it up, or, cause it has some like black tubing and then piles of like mud puddles, and so I didn't know if you guys got an update to see if they were, yeah, what's going on with the water runoff? Anything update on that? I know you said that it got handled the last meeting, but didn't know those details. So I was just wondering, did you get those details? Cause nobody reached out to me with those.
Yeah, they're essentially doing like a dry well system that is nearby to a city pipe that essentially goes out to the street.
Okay.
They were gonna start that today. The project manager was off today, so I don't know if they actually got it started because they had a few clarifying questions, but she'll be back in tomorrow, so I'm sure they'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
yes, anybody else? Oh, sorry, go ahead. No. I should look at my,
Oh, there I am. I'm live. Okay, sorry. With the amazing additions and the beautification to Kiwanis Park, I think it would be a great idea. I don't know if you guys could pull this off, but if we could have some kind of like city employee basketball tournament or pickleball tournament or something where we could all just go down and enjoy the facilities together. I will sign myself up to play if you guys need. I'm a terrible basketball player, but
see how long you can
I'm
hold
in.
court.
yeah.
Well, we are planning a grand opening. I'm not sure when that's gonna be. It's probably a few weeks out. We're ordering some pickleball paddles, personalized from City Battleground, so we would expect that council members would take a shot at playing some pickleball on that court when we do the grand opening.
You're on.
And then we can go over to the other court.
All right. Any further council communications? Okay. So again, council, I expect this will only last me 5 minutes. If nobody has any questions, that's all it should last. Do you want to do 10 or do you want to do 5? 10? Okay, we'll do 10 minutes. So pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, parentheses 1, parentheses G, the city council will enter an executive session to review the performance of a public employee. Session will last 10 minutes. Will commence at 8:05, ending at 8:15 with possible action to follow.
Is live.
The time is 8:15. Calling this meeting back to order. And just one quick question for staff. Is the first meeting in July still a possibility? Are we having that or not having that? Do we know at this time?
You can call a meeting, it would just be considered a special meeting because our code says that we
So
only have
we don't
one.
currently have a regular meeting planned for the first. Okay, so
Just-
we're just confirming.
Yes, we only have one regular.
We can make Rob come here. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay. With that, it's 8:16. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.